The opening of Deathly Hallows differs significantly between book and films. In the novel, we begin with a chapter titled The Dark Lord Ascending, where Voldemort meets with his Death Eaters at Malfoy Manor. This scene includes the Muggle Studies teacher Charity Burbage, who is killed in front of them, and the snake Nagini, which reinforces Voldemort's cruelty and the Malfoys' fear of him. The first film keeps a version of this meeting but shortens it. Burbage is present and killed, but much of the dialogue about the Malfoys' disgrace and Voldemort's growing dominance is condensed. The novel then shifts to Harry's farewell to the Dursleys. Vernon, Petunia and Dudley prepare to leave Privet Drive under Ministry protection. Dudley thanks Harry and shows unexpected warmth, a moment that softens their relationship and closes their story. This scene is cut entirely from both films. The Dursleys vanish from the movie series without resolution, removing their final interaction with Harry. The escape from Privet Drive is broadly similar but differs in details. In the book, the Order of the Phoenix creates 7 Harrys through Polyjuice Potion, and the group departs on broomsticks, thestrals, and Hagrid's flying motorbike. The attack is chaotic, involving many Death Eaters, Voldemort himself, and Hedwig's death by a stray curse while still in her cage. In the first film, Hedwig instead protects Harry and is killed while flying free, making her death more heroic but less accidental. The book also shows multiple characters wounded, including George Weasley losing an ear to Snape's Sectum Sempra spell. The film keeps George's injury, but trims much of the larger battle. At the Burrow, the differences between the book and film continue. In the novel, the Weasleys, Harry and their allies recover from the battle and mourn Mad-Eye Moody, who is confirmed dead during the escape. They also tend to George's wound. The atmosphere is grim but practical, showing the cost of Voldemort's growing power. In the first film, Moody's death is mentioned briefly without much detail, and George's injury is shown in passing, but the emotional weight is lighter. The wedding of Bill Weasley and Fleur Delacour is an important scene in the book. It provides a final moment of celebration before the darkness fully takes hold and introduces key characters and information. Victor Crumb reappears, and Elphias Doge shares memories of Dumbledore, while Aunt Muriel gossips about Dumbledore's family, planting seeds of doubt in Harry's mind. During the wedding, Kingsley Shacklebolt's Patronus arrives to announce the fall of the Ministry. In the film, the wedding is heavily shortened. Crumb does not appear, and Muriel's role is removed. Instead, Elphias Doge has a brief conversation with Harry, and then the Patronus interrupts much sooner, skipping most of the build-up and the exploration of Dumbledore's past. After the wedding, the book follows Harry, Ron, and Hermione as they narrowly escape to Tottenham Court Road, where they are ambushed by Death Eaters. This scene emphasizes how quickly danger finds them. The first film keeps the ambush but simplifies it into a shorter confrontation inside a cafe, ending almost immediately once the trio defeats their attackers. The infiltration of the Ministry of Magic differs in several ways between the book and the first film. In the novel, Harry, Ron, and Hermione spend days planning before using Polyjuice Potion to disguise themselves as 3 Ministry employees. Their goal is to retrieve Salazar Slytherin's Locket Horcrux from Dolores Umbridge. The sequence inside the Ministry is long and tense as they navigate a bureaucratic environment under Voldemort's control, witness the persecution of Muggle-born witches and wizards, and encounter various officials. In the film, the plan is executed more quickly, and the time spent inside the Ministry is shorter, with fewer side characters and less emphasis on the broader atmosphere of fear and oppression. Umbridge's role is also streamlined. In the book, she is shown presiding over Muggle-born hearings, wearing the Locket Horcrux as a symbol of status. Hermione lures her away, and Harry stuns her to steal the locket. The novel highlights how deeply corruption has penetrated the Ministry. The film reduces the sequence, focusing on Harry confronting her directly during a hearing and seizing the locket in one continuous scene. The trio's escape is another key difference. In the book, as they attempt to flee, Yaxley grabs hold of Hermione, and when she apparates them to Grimmauld Place, she accidentally allows him to follow. This compromises their safe house, forcing them to leave immediately. The film omits this complication entirely. After apparating away, they simply move on without the added danger or explanation for abandoning Grimmauld Place. Life on the run is explored in much greater depth in the novel than in the first film. In the book, Harry, Ron, and Hermione spend months moving from place to place in forests, fields, and remote countryside locations. The oppressive mood, constant hunger, and lack of progress weigh heavily on them. Tension builds as they argue, especially when wearing the locket Horcrux, which amplifies negative emotions. The film condenses this extended period into a brief montage showing only a handful of campsites and arguments, without fully portraying the drawn-out hopelessness of their journey. Ron's departure is also handled differently. In the novel, after weeks of frustration and the influence of the locket, Ron explodes in anger, accusing Harry of having no real plan and storming out on both Harry and Hermione. This moment leaves Harry and Hermione devastated, heightening the sense of isolation. The film keeps Ron's departure but makes it more sudden, with less build-up of his growing resentment and fewer arguments shown beforehand. The visit to Godric's Hollow is another expanded sequence in the book. Harry and Hermione go disguised with Polyjuice Potion and visit the graveyard, where Harry sees the graves of his parents and Ignotus Peverell, tying into the Deathly Hallows symbol. They then visit Bathilda Bagshot, who is revealed to be dead and inhabited by Nagini. Voldemort nearly captures Harry during the escape. The first film includes this sequence, but shortens the graveyard visit and removes much of the emotional reflection. The attack from Nagini happens more quickly, and Bathilda's backstory is not explored. The discovery and destruction of Gryffindor's sword differ in pacing and detail. In the novel, after Ron leaves, Harry and Hermione continue searching aimlessly until Harry follows a mysterious silver doe, Patronus, to a frozen pond. The sword of Gryffindor lies beneath the ice. When Harry dives in to retrieve it, the locket Horcrux nearly strangles him, and Ron reappears to save him. Ron then uses the sword to destroy the Horcrux, which unleashes visions meant to weaken his resolve. The first film includes this scene mostly intact, but condenses Harry's struggle under the ice and shortens the Horcrux's tormenting visions, which in the book are more elaborate and cruel. Xenophilius Lovegood and the tale of the Deathly Hallows also receive more attention in the book. Harry, Ron, and Hermione visit Xenophilius at his home, where he explains the symbol's meaning and tells them the story of the three brothers. The book provides detail about the Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, and the Invisibility Cloak, while also showing Xenophilius's desperation after his daughter Luna has been taken hostage. He betrays them by summoning Death Eaters, leading to a narrow escape. The film condenses the visit, focusing mainly on the animated story of the three brothers and trimming much of Xenophilius's background and emotional conflict. At Malfoy Manor, the differences are more striking. In the novel, the trio is captured by Snatchers and brought to the Malfoy estate. Bellatrix Lestrange tortures Hermione for information about the Sword of Gryffindor while the others are imprisoned in the cellar with Luna, Ollivander, and Griphook the Goblin. Dobby appears to help them escape, but he is killed by Bellatrix's thrown knife. The first film adapts this sequence but removes Luna and Ollivander from the cellar, simplifying the rescue to focus solely on the trio. The brutality of Hermione's torture is also softened, though still present. Deathly Hallows. Part 2 opens differently from the book. The novel resumes directly after Dobby's burial at Shell Cottage, where Harry, Ron, and Hermione plan their next move and speak with Griphook and Ollivander. Both confirm important details. Griphook about breaking into Gringotts, and Ollivander about wands and the Elder Wand's legend. The second film includes brief scenes at Shell Cottage, but heavily shortens Ollivander's role and minimises the planning. moving more quickly into the Gringotts break-in. The Gringotts sequence in the book is elaborate. Disguised as Bellatrix, Hermione leads Harry, Ron, and Griphook into the Lestrange Vault, which is protected by enchantments that cause objects to multiply and burn when touched. Harry retrieves Hufflepuff's cup, a Horcrux, but Griphook betrays them, fleeing with the sword of Gryffindor. The trio escapes on the back of a dragon. The film keeps most of this, but the multiplying and burning treasure is shown in less detail, and Griphook's betrayal is simplified. The escape on the dragon is largely faithful, but presented in a more cinematic, shortened way. The return to Hogwarts unfolds differently. In the novel, Harry realizes another Horcrux is hidden at the school and, with Neville's help, sneaks into the Room of Requirement. A secret resistance group led by Neville, Ginny and Luna has been fighting back against the Carrow's Death Eater professors. This subplot showcases Hogwarts students' resilience. In the film, Neville greets Harry, but the larger resistance story is reduced to a few brief moments, skipping the Carrows entirely and making Snape the only oppressive figure shown before the battle begins. The Battle of Hogwarts is far more extensive in the novel than in the films. In the book, McGonagall, Flitwick, Sprout, and others prepare the castle's defences, summoning enchanted statues and suits of armour to fight. Students who are underage are evacuated, while members of the Order of the Phoenix, Dumbledore's army, and teachers remain to defend the school. The battle unfolds in stages with pauses in between, allowing Harry to continue searching for Horcruxes. In the films, these preparations are condensed into a single scene where McGonagall animates the statues, and the actual battle is presented as one continuous action sequence without pauses. Deaths are also handled differently. In the novel, characters such as Lupin, Tonks, and Fred Weasley die off-page, with their deaths revealed afterward in the Great Hall. This makes their losses shocking and sudden, mirroring the chaos of battle. In the films, the deaths are shown only in aftermath, with brief shots of their bodies but little context for how they died. The emotional impact is conveyed more through visuals than through narrative detail. The destruction of Horcruxes varies as well. In the book, Harry kills the Diadem Horcrux with basilisk venom after escaping the Room of Requirement, where Crabbe's fiend-fire consumes it along with Crabbe himself. In the film, it is instead destroyed directly by the fiend-fire, conjured by Goyle, with Harry stabbing it afterward to finish the job, changing both the mechanics and the character responsible. Similarly, Nagini is killed at the very end of the novel by Neville, using the Sword of Gryffindor during Voldemort's final duel. The film keeps Neville's role but shifts the timing, with Nagini killed just before Harry and Voldemort's last confrontation. Harry's confrontation with Voldemort differs in structure between the book and the films. In the novel, Harry willingly enters the Forbidden Forest to sacrifice himself after learning he is the final Horcrux. He faces Voldemort surrounded by Death Eaters and is struck by the Killing Curse, which destroys the fragment of Voldemort's soul within him. He then has a vision-like encounter with Dumbledore at King's Cross, where Dumbledore explains the nature of the Horcruxes and the Deathly Hallows. The film keeps most of this but makes Voldemort personally test Harry's death afterward, with Nagini sniffing his body, and omits some of Dumbledore's deeper explanations about Grindelwald and the Hallows. The final duel plays out very differently. In the book, after returning from the forest, Harry reveals himself alive and confronts Voldemort in front of everyone in the Great Hall. He explains Voldemort's mistakes, including how the Elder Wand's allegiance has passed to him. Voldemort attempts one last killing curse, but it rebounds upon him, killing him in front of witnesses. The tone emphasizes Voldemort's downfall as a human, not a larger-than-life spectacle. In the film, the duel is staged as a private chase through the castle and courtyards, with Harry and Voldemort battling one-on-one. Their spells clash in a dramatic sequence, ending with Voldemort disintegrating into ash rather than dying a human death. This changes the message from Voldemort's mortality to a more visual, cinematic finish. The aftermath in the book shows Hogwarts mourning its fallen, with survivors gathering together in the Great Hall. Harry speaks quietly with Ron and Hermione, explains the Elder Wand's allegiance, and uses it briefly to repair his own wand before deciding to return it to Dumbledore's tomb. The film skips much of this. Harry simply snaps the Elder Wand in half and throws it away without explanation, removing the thematic choice of rejecting power while preserving his own identity.